Good morning, everyone. My name is Catherine Liss, Director of the Philadelphia Art Commission. This is the August 26, 2026 Sign and Streetery Committee meeting. This is a subcommittee of the Philadelphia Art Commission. This committee makes advisory recommendations to the full Art Commission. Today's recommendations will be considered by the Art Commission at their meeting on Wednesday, September 9th. For your information, this meeting is being recorded, and by participating in the meeting, you are giving your consent to be recorded. A link to the recording will be posted on the Philadelphia Art Commission website following today's meeting. The agenda and meeting materials can also be found on the website. Committee members, good morning and welcome back. I'm going to call on you one at a time. Please acknowledge your presence. Shannon Garrison.
Good morning, Shannon Garrison with the Philadelphia Historical Commission staff.
Morning. Philip Green.
Hello, Philip Green from the Philadelphia Department of Commerce.
Troy Leonard.
Good morning, Troy Leonard, President Kelly Maillo Architects, member of the Art Commission.
And Rayed Nasser.
Good morning, Rayed Nasser with the Art Commission.
Thank you all. Members of the public, you may comment on agenda items during the meeting. When the agenda item that you are interested in is being discussed, you may use the raise hand feature. If you are joining the meeting by phone, you may also use the raise hand feature by dialing *9 during the public comment period. And with that, we can proceed to our first item on the agenda. We have the first of two submissions from Penn Medicine. The first is Middleman Center. If you're here to speak to this item, please raise your hand. Okay, Sean and Derek, you should be able to unmute yourselves to talk us through the slides.
Good morning. No.
Hey, good morning, Catherine. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you, Sean.
Okay. Yeah. So I have Derek Tashes with me. Sounds like a little backfeed.
Yeah,
but,
I'm here.
Are you guys getting backfeed from both of us or just Derek?
Only from Derek
Okay.
at this
Well,
time.
That's no problem. I can speak to this.
Okay.
So yes, thank you for having us. I'm here with Derek Tash from Penn Medicine. We're here on behalf of Penn Medicine for this building ID signage package. Our first project here, as you stated, is the Penn Medicine Middleman Center. The project address is 3600 Civic Center Boulevard. And with that, if you want to jump to the next slide. So existing at this site at 3600 Civic Center Boulevard, there is a building ID sign currently. It's at the top of the building. And you can see there on the existing North ID and existing South ID. And that sign right now currently reads Penn Medicine. It's backlit with the Penn Medicine logo on it. So what we're proposing next to that sign is an additional ID sign, the proposed South ID and the proposed North ID, which are the same sign. And those words will read the Middleman Center. So existing Penn Medicine sign and proposing next to that Middleman Center in the same font and same size. We can jump to the next. So you can see here a couple elevations, proposed renderings of what that would look like. Again, the Penn Medicine sign that you see here is existing, and the line through the center with the Middleman Center context text is the proposed and what we're presenting today for approval. It will be backlit, just like the Penn Medicine sign is currently backlit. You can jump to the next slide. We can kind of run through this quickly, but you can see here, this is the elevation with the proposed sign, steel tracking behind its aluminum sign, white polycarbonate face. And we can kind of run through these quickly. This is the same side. This is at night with the illumination. This is the opposite side. Again, it's the same thing on both sides. Next. So then here's just our elevation of the sign. So the existing sign is about 112 feet wide. The the proposed sign will be about 132 feet wide. And again, it's at the top of the building. They're about 15 feet high. It's, again, north elevation, same thing on the different side. And then here's kind of a close-up. Like I said, it's a steel track behind. It's aluminum retainer illuminated with 6500 LEDs, 6500K LEDs, and it's a white polycarbonate face on the front. And here's kind of just those same renderings you see. We're also proposing here just a smaller sign at the building entrance. So the Penn Medicine sign you see there is existing. And we're proposing on the side of that the Middleman sign. Same location proposed. And then here's just one more rendering of that same sign on the building. And this is just one more image, showing the sizes. So again, 121 by 11. The smaller one's about 13 by 1 foot a third, and that bottom one is actually inside the building, so we're not part of it. And I think that kind of wraps up our presentation on that.
Thank you, Sean. Committee members, do you have any questions about this proposal?
Are there any buildings in University City within Penn or elsewhere that go beyond the institution name and provide a name for the building? Like I'm seeing in the image, there's, Children's Hospital of Pennsylvania. But, they don't have like Children's Hospital of Pennsylvania, Smith Center or whatever it is. Are there any other buildings? I'm just wondering about the precedent that this could set for large building top signage in University City and just elsewhere that goes beyond just the institution name. And is for the name of the building. I think it could be a slippery slope because that is just a lot of signage. Anybody else wondering about that?
Yeah, but I do think the University of Pennsylvania building on South Street, we did approve it, but it's with the name, but I don't believe it's so tall, so high. I'm looking at it right now, trying to look on the files.
Yes, to answer your question, Philip, I believe, and Derek might be having audio issues, the Clifton Center, which is the large brown building adjacent, that has a Clifton Center sign. And that's the one off the top of my head I can think of, but I believe there are a few that have those.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what's wrong.
Derek, do you want to type maybe in the chat?
It says the chat is disabled. I can add my comment to the chat.
But yeah, I know the Clifton Center, which is the large building in the same area, has that kind of similar signage. And like we said, it's a building identification, so this will be known as the Middleman Center. It's an identifying feature for people to identify,
Yeah,
where
I
they're
apologize again with the sound. There's actually quite a few. There's the Clifton Center, the Roberts Center with CHOP, the Smilo Center with Penn. I think there's an Abramson Center. There's actually quite a few. So it is very much in keeping with that tradition of recognizing the generous donations.
Thank you. All right.
We're happy to provide any feedback via email, on that. We can send president images and items like that.
Yeah, but this one by far is the tallest. That's the thing. Yeah, I'm looking at the.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I agree. I don't think the issue is whether or not the building is named. It's sort of the size and the height of the sign. I mean, as a design, I think it's very well planned. strategic. It was a building looking for a name. So you had the Penn Medicine to the left, found a name, put it up there, perfect. But it's big and it's high, so that's the real concern.
It's actually technically a little smaller and a little shorter than some of the others that are existing. Clifton actually has larger letters, and it's a little taller. And Smilo, I believe, also has slightly larger letters. But for what it's
Derek, you appear to be in the meeting twice. If you mute one of the devices that you're in the meeting on, it may reduce the feedback that you're getting.
That's helpful. I don't know how that. Why don't I leave and come back and see if that works? Sorry, guys.
I think in this image, it looks a little better. The letters, for some reason, look smaller. So the Penn Medicine sign is already there. Is that correct?
Correct. And the logo is already there.
So you can't change that.
Correct.
And if you make the Middleman Center smaller, then it's going to be the wrong proportion. So
Correct. Yeah, it's the same size of font and same type of font. You can see, even like in this image, you can see CHOP there on the very left of this image. It says the Burger Center, which I know is in smaller text. But that's just another example of, an identifying sign.
Hi, I'm back. Sorry, I'm not sure how that happened, but that works now.
Yes, you sound much better.
Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I guess I'd just be repeating what we've said and what Sean just said.
I'm seeing an image of the Clifton Center now online, and it looks to be kind of the same proportion. And so I'm leaning towards approval on this. Also, earlier I said Children's Hospital of Pennsylvania, but it's Philadelphia. I always get that confused.
Yeah, I'm clicking around and was able to find the Smilo Center's
Yep.
signage, which looks very similar. So, like Philip, I think I'm okay with this.
Appreciate it.
I'm in agreement. I approve.
Yeah, I approve.
Okay. Yeah. It looks clean. That's the thing. It's just the height. We just don't want to set a precedence, like Phelps said, But if it's already there, I guess we're okay. I'm
I was
okay.
just imagining a future where there's Comcast towers that say Comcast, and then Comcast Tower 1, and then Comcast Tower 2, and then Blue Cross, Blue Shield, Blue Cross Center, blah, blah, blah.
Well, if I was donating multi-millions of dollars,
Exactly.
what do I need?
That's true. You won't see a green center anytime soon, unfortunately, but
Okay,
Yeah.
so it sounds like we are comfortable moving forward with approval for this. Okay,
Thank you,
Okay.
guys. Yeah, we greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
great. Thank you.
With that, I guess we'll segue into our next signage. So it's Derek and I again presenting. Derek Otash with behalf of Penn Medicine, myself, Sean Smith with Pannoni. And we are presenting again for building identification signs for Penn Medicine. For this package, there is no existing signage, building ID signage at the top of the building. We're at 3535 Market Street here, which is actually closer to 36th the Market. So again, there's the existing building there with no signage currently at the top. Jump to the next slide. Again, just for context, we're adjacent to Drexel's campus. We're closer to 36th Street and Market, and this is the northeast corner of that intersection. So for this package, we're proposing 3 building ID signs. ID 1 will be on the east face, ID 2 will be on the west face, and ID 3 on the north face, with nothing on the south face. The south face being Market Street, and these will all again be the same sign. This is just quickly existing conditions facing west along Market Street. We have facing east along Market Street, and then we have facing south from 36th Street on the north side. So that's existing conditions. I'll jump to the next slide. So here's the in section elevation view. This is the proposed east elevation. So it'll be the Penn Medicine sign with the Penn Medicine logo all the way to the side of the building. So it can be identified. We'll see in photos later, clearly from the street. Same sign, west elevation this time. Again, the sign on the side being closer to Market Street. And then from the north here, we're on 36th Street facing south. And this is the north face of the building with it aligned to the right. And then on the south, like we said, there's no sign proposed for the south side, which is, we'd be standing on Market Street looking at this orientation. So the sign itself is roughly 80 feet by about 10 feet. We have the Penn Medicine with the Penn logo, Penn Medicine text in blue. This sign is not illuminated in the back. It's again on steel channels, aluminum sign with vinyl letters. Again, same sign. So here's those same images you saw with how it will look proposed with the sign up. So this is east facing west along Market, west facing east along Market, by Medicine sign, and then north facing south along 36th Street, the sign. And that is our proposal for 3535 Market.
And just some, if I could add some background to this. So this is a building that we've occupied greatly for a long number of years. But part of the reason for the desire for the sign and the desire for the sign now is that in the past, a lot of that occupancy has been administrative space or research space that was not publicly facing. And in the recent years and ongoing, we've continued to convert a lot of that previous admin space into clinical space. So it's increasingly becoming a location that we need our patient population to find and visit. So that's why now the desire to have more of a demarcation for wayfinding purposes.
I agree. I think it looks good.
I do have an issue with the north side one. I don't know if it's needed. I'm looking to see the street because I know the street is not too far. I'm looking at the street view stuff. It's so difficult. What's wrong with Google Map now today? Chris, how's your department feels about the north side sign? It's just this the west is fine, the east is fine, it's just the north. Can you go back to the north view? Is there any way we can trying to picture it?
Isn't that the north view we're looking at?
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is we're on 36th Street here, facing south, looking at the north face of the building in this orientation.
Is this one?
So this is the north face of the building.
Okay. I guess I'm picturing myself on a different street, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, this sign will be visual on the street, at least from as far as Lancaster Ave. There's not too many building obstructions.
Oh, no, then it looks fine. No, I'm just I picturing a different, I guess, different street. I don't think it's needed because the street doesn't go that far as that diagonal street. I don't know if it's 35th. Okay, if that's the one, uh, I'm okay with it too.
I don't have an issue with the signage as proposed. I guess my only hesitation would be following the prior review if we should anticipate future naming desires on these buildings
We really
because
don't. And yeah, we're always looking for donors for any reason, but we wouldn't anticipate that in this building. The nature of the building and what occurs here is extremely different. The other location is I don't know if anyone's aware, but that building was previously half the height, and we very recently completed what we call an overbuild project and basically doubled the size of that tower and converted it entirely to laboratory space. And so the gift that we're recognizing there is pretty substantial, tied to clinical research support. So it's a specific topic of a very kind of a special thing that goes on in that building. But this building is a completely different nature, so we're not anticipating to come back for any reason. And you can see we've not even left ourselves the space. So,
Yep.
we've kind of set it up to not do that, actually.
Yep. Quite. With that confirmation, I am comfortable moving forward with a recommendation for approval unless other committee members have comments.
I'm good with this.
Okay.
Yes, I'm
All right.
good.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time and consideration.
Yes, thank you all.
Thank you. Okay. Our next item for review is Terra Hall at Temple. We have Neil, you should be able to unmute yourself. And James, you should also be able to unmute yourself at this time.
Good morning,
Good morning.
committee members and director. My name is Neil Sklarov. I'm an attorney with Dilworth Paxson, and I have the pleasure of representing Temple University this morning before the committee. Temple University acquired Terra Hall in February of 2025 from the University of the Arts. There are two elements to this application. The building fronts Broad Street, and there's a marquee and several signs that are part of this application. The marquee approval from the Art Commission is required by the Streets Department, and zoning permit requires Art Commission approval as well. Joining us this morning are James Templeton, Assistant Vice President and University Architect, and as well as Kyle Tavera and Steve Folkowski from Jacobs Wiper Architects. Kyle will take us through the slides if you allow him to share.
Hey, Kyle, you should be able to unmute yourself. Let staff know when you would like to advance the slides.
And actually, if you don't mind, before Kyle gets started, I just want to say thank you for letting us present. And I'll be very brief, but this project is unbelievably important to Temple University. The fact that we are able to bring 2,000 students, approximately 2,000 students to South Broad Street, to the Avenue of the Arts is very exciting and dynamic for us. But one of the comments we heard years ago when we presented at our current location is that people didn't even know there was a Center City campus for Temple University and that we needed better signage. So that was one of the things driving our approach to this new location that will be our new permanent home on South Broad Street. So thank you, and I'll let Kyle and Jacob Swiper present.
Yeah, hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. I'm Kyle Alfaro-Tavera, project architect at Jake Swiper, presenting for Temple University for Terra Hall. Next. I provided 3 views here, one of them looking towards City Hall on Broad Street, one of them looking towards South Philly, and then one from across the street. So you can kind of see what the existing conditions are. Next slide. This essentially is just showing it's on South Broad Street and Walnut Street. The area of work that we're actually working on is more towards the South Broad Street side, and that's it, no other signage elsewhere. The next one. So the top shows the existing elevation as is. There's currently address signs and other signage which will be staying, which we'll review later. What we're currently working on is the right side there at the bottom, adding in 3 different types of signage. So move on to the next. So as Neil had said, we're adding in a marquee that extends from the building 4 feet. And on top of that marquee, we are adding a signage so you can identify the actual building and the entrance, as James was just saying, for the actual Center City campus. We're adding in a illuminated logo, the Temple T, as you can see in the center, and then we're adding in building information sign so you know which schools are actually in the building. Go on to the next. So this shows the existing street view versus what we're proposing. As you can see, the marquee comes out a little bit, and you have the signage up above it that identifies the sign, the logo, and also the building information to the right. Next. Here we're basically showing that the allowable square footage for signage is 273 square feet. With the existing signs that you can see in the top right, and also the signs that we're proposing, we're well under the allowable at 143 square feet. Next. And then these are the 3 different signs. As I said, there's an accessory marquee sign that goes above that identifies the building as Temple University building. It is non-illuminated. We have the larger logo, which is easily identifiable, and that will be illuminated. And then we have a building information wall sign, as I said, that identifies the different schools that are actually in the building. This is typical amongst all of the university campus. Each sign that we're proposing here is important in its own way, and I just wanted to emphasize that. And that's it.
Thank you, Kyle. Committee members, do you have any questions?
I don't
And
have a
to
question, but I'll say this building currently suffers from an identity crisis. You don't know like where the main entry is or where the entry into the building is. And I think this design successfully solves that problem. It does it, I think, in a very elegant, restrained way, and really emphasizes Temple's brand. So I think it's a successful design.
I agree.
Yeah, my main concern was just the installation of the marquee and how it might affect the cornice. But if I'm understanding these drawings correctly, it's not attached directly onto the front cornice. So
Correct. Yes.
I'm okay with the marquee in that case. And I agree with Troy and Ray that I think the signage works well here.
Yeah, I agree with everything that folks have said. My only hesitation is the Temple T being at kind of like pedestrian height. You know, that part of South Broad Street is, you know, between Midtown Village and 15th and Sansom. And so, especially on weekends, there's just a lot of partiers at night, and anything within arm's reach can be kind of like vandalized. So I trust that Temple will maintain that area if there's any sort of graffiti or anything like that. But just I would recommend some sturdy materials, or some. Will there be lighting underneath that marquee, like downward lighting?
Yes, there'll be linear LEDs. It's kind of just more like a glow, less of like intense lighting.
Okay. And this is more just my curiosity, will you be taking off the coverings on the other windows to make them more transparent?
Yes, once construction's finished, we'll be doing.
Great. Awesome. Then yeah, I think this looks great and I approve.
We do have, Phil, to answer your security question, we do have a full-time security guard always stationed in the new entrance. Yes, graffiti still sometimes happens, but we promise to clean and remove any. It's something we deal with on main campus and our health science campus all the time, so we're used to it.
That's true. Thank you.
Thank you. I agree with the comments of the other committee members, and would be comfortable moving forward a recommendation of approval both for the signage and for the marquee, with Shannon's comments about the attachment not attaching directly to the cornice. Okay, if there are no other comments, we can move to the next item. Thank you. Okay, our next item is the review of the Washington. Jake and Brett, you should be able to speak at this time.
Good morning, Catherine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me as well, Brett Feldman?
Yes, I can.
And I think Sharon Brandt from Foreman
Okay.
Science.
Yep, Sharon should be able to unmute as well.
Great. Great.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can, Sharon.
Okay. Shall we begin?
Yes,
You
please
moved
go ahead.
through the cases so fast. I was emailing everyone saying, we're up next. We're up next. So good morning, members of the committee. Brett Feldman with the law firm of Claire Harris in 1835 Market Street, and really proud to be representing the property owner, Keystone Property, here at this magnificent building at 6th and Walnut, 508-532 Walnut. With me from Keystone is Jake Franchillo, and as you know, Sharon Brandt from Foreman Signs. Keystone, in addition to this building, owns the Curtis Center right across the street. Another magnificent building, the Roman Haas building at 6th and Market, and other prominent properties here in the area. And I guess if you could, Catherine, if you could go to the next. Yeah, here we are at 6th and Walnut Street. We're proposing 4 banner signs, banner 1, 2 on Walnut Street, and then banners 3 and 4 on 6th Street. There's an existing plaque, which we're looking to reface, that's been there for some time, from an office tenant that's in the building. And then we have an entrance sign. And what this is all about is this is for it's a concept application. You'll notice there's no specific logo on this, and we were advised from the Art Commission that at this time we could have a concept application because we're really excited. We've got a upscale wellness fitness tenant that's looking to take about 45,000 square feet of this first floor corner space and mezzanine, which has been vacant for a long time. I think we're at like 10 or 11 years. This is not a conventional retail space. which really drives the importance of having some recognizable signage here. So that's the application. And Jake, I don't know if there's anything further. You've been working on trying to get a tenant in here for some time. If there's anything further you wanted to add before we went into the specifics of the application.
Brett, the only thing I wanted to add was I think we've been great stewards here at the Independence Mall area with what we've done at the street level with the Curtis, with Mattis, Coffee Roasters, PJ Clark's, the old Roman Hospital at 100 Independence Mall West. The Independence Beer Garden was added. 400 Market has been converted to 173 apartments. And we really view this as the last puzzle piece in activating and creating vitality at the 6th Street, the Walnut Street, and really Independence Mall in general.
Great. Thank you. So we can turn to the next slide. And what I would just offer before we go any further is the application that you're seeing today. This is based off of a prior approval that the Historic Commission had for another proposed tenant back in, I think it was 2017, 2018. I don't know if the Art Commission reviewed it, but we based this off of at least the Historic Commission approval for the same location. And then we gave that tenant, the existing tenant, kind of those guideposts. And then the Historical Commission has also reviewed this and approved this to date. So I just wanted to give you a sense of what a sister agency has done. And I don't know. I wasn't involved in 17 whether the commission reviewed and also approved this. So that being said, here we are at the corner of 6th and Walnut. You can see banners 1, banner 2, banner 3, and then banner 4 is down on 6th Street at St. James. Next slide. This is the future tenant space, halo lit sign right at our entrance. You can see this is not a traditional retail commercial space. This was a bank space for many, many years. I think Beneficial was the last tenant that might have left in 13, 14, but a very different tenant experience. We're not at street level. The windows are blocked off. So we're looking at this proposed future tenant space. And once we have hopefully conceptual approval, we would certainly come back and work with you, for final details with the specific tenant and their logo and their colors. But we wanted to get these guideposts. Next slide. Again, that's another shot of the proposed future tenant sign. Next. And then these are the 4 banner signs. This is the banner 1, I believe, looking on Walnut Street, looking west. The geometry of this building is really interesting. The property line is actually pretty far outside of where these signs are. So these are all within the property line. I think there's, I don't know, we're still 3 or 4 or 5 feet within the property line here. We've designed these in a way, first, that there would be no future, any damage to the building itself with the installation, but also that these columns, these magnificent columns, when you look east or west on Walnut, should not be obscured. Next. That's banner 4 on 6th Street at St. James. Again, this is where the tenant space would be located within this mass. 3 foot wide, hugging the building. And again, we believe that this is also within the property line. Next slide. A little more on the specifics of the banner sign. Next slide. This is that plaque sign that is on Walnut Street. Again, just swapping out the existing plaque sign that is there. Next. And these are additional views looking on 6th Street, looking on Walnut Street, with the Curtis across the street that Jake talked about. Next slide. Let me stop here. If you look in the bottom right, the view looking south on 6th Street, you'll see that plaque sign that's there. That's the one that we're refacing. Next slide. And that's really what we're looking to do. certainly answer any questions. Sharon, you're there to any more specifics about banner composition. But the goal here would be, again, concept, so we can hopefully finish up this lease with this. I think it's just the perfect tenant for here, 45,000 square feet. Would really activate the corner fitness, wellness tenant that is looking for this space. And then with this package approved at a conceptual level, we can finish up the lease, and then we would come back here to show you final details of the signage itself. So we're hoping to get your blessing to move ahead and give them the assurance that they've got a signed package that lets them have the comfort to move ahead and take this space, which has been vacant for 10 years, 12 years at this point now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brett.
I have a question for Catherine. Has the Historical Commission approved the idea for the signage? I'm trying to understand, like, what constraints are we to work within or providing commentary?
I can jump in and confirm that this proposal was sent to the Historical Commission staff in late July and approved with the following conditions. One, that the signage be attached solely to the mortar joints and not to the stone.
Correct.
2, that the number of banner signs is limited to 4. 3, the width of projecting banner signs is limited to 24 inches or proportional to the signage presented in the application. And then lastly, the width of the flat banner signs maintains a 3 to 4 inch reveal on either side. So those were the requirements from the Historical Commission staff.
Okay. Thank you.
We don't have any flat banner signs. These are just the perpendicular. And we would also go back to historic with any final details. Again, we're at concept here, but yeah, we would obviously go back to the staff or however they want to handle it. We're kind of in this chicken and egg here. We're trying to navigate both at the same time.
Chris, are we gonna set any precedents with those banners on Walnut Street? Yeah, they look too big for me, but you know.
Yeah, I have the banners in particular jump out to me, both the size and the quantity of them. And while I appreciate the review from historical and their perspective, they are they are not dependent on each other necessarily.
Yeah. I mean, this is a massive building. These are 3-foot wide banners. I mean, we could perhaps shorten them up a little bit as far as the length, but they don't obscure that view of those columns looking in either direction on Walnut Street. Jake, do you have any idea? I mean, the size of this building along 6th Street. I mean, it takes up a massive amount of Walnut and 6th, and I don't. We didn't see these as in any way overwhelming, and maybe this perspective doesn't convey that, but
I think that's very subjective, and
yeah.
I think our comments are relating to the larger context of Walnut Street. I mean, the Curtis building is a massive building also, and I don't think there are any banners on that building. There are a number of large buildings on Walnut Street, and I believe this would be the only one that has the vertical banners. And I think our concern is that it does set a precedent for every tenant to now attach a vertical banner, and the concern is what will that do to the streetscape on Walnut Street. I think the wall mounted signs are fine. I have no issue with those. It's just the vertical banners, regardless of how big or how far they project from the building, is a real concern that we have to consider.
Is your concern with the number of them or the size?
I'm concerned with the idea of the banner itself. It's because you will be the first and the only tenant on Walnut Street, at least this part of Walnut Street, with a vertical banner attached to your building.
Yeah.
I'm generally okay with the banners on the entrance side of the building, because they don't project out further than the entrance, and I think that they flank the entrance in an otherwise really awkward building for a commercial tenant. Because the front entrance is recessed. It's not the type of commercial space that folks are used to. And so I can see how it would be a difficult building to find an occupant for without some signage that really brings people in. I have more mixed feelings about the banners on, I guess it would be the west facing wall that faces Washington Square Park, because those aren't the entrance. That's not the entrance side of the facade. And also I think in general, the park should be a peaceful place, not within view of a ton of signage. But the two banners on the entrance side, I would be okay with, because they do fit within the building line. So it's not really like they're projecting out beyond the columns or beyond the entrance. So I think that yes, I could see how it could set a precedent for banners on Walnut Street, but the fact that the banners don't project out further than an aspect of the building kind of is like, it's allowable to me. Those are my thoughts.
So are you talking about the Washington Square or the Independence Park? I'm sorry, I just missed that. Because both corners has the park.
Gotcha, yeah.
Is that the one the far away, or the ones on the 6th Street? I'm sorry, I just trying to understand. You're more worried about the one on.
I guess I'm more. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that would because they both face parks. I forgot the vantage point here. I guess that I just think that the banners on the non-entrance side of the building could be a little bit overkill. But I think on the entrance side of the building, I think it's permissible. And again, I can't imagine that this is a difficult place to find a commercial tenant for, given the entrance and the fact that it's a historic building, so you can't really carve out a new glass storefront there, as you shouldn't be able to, so if a couple banner signs assist to help occupy an otherwise vacant and fallow building, I'm kind of all right with it.
Yeah, this has been, I think it's been empty 10 years, at least 10 years. We have 45,000 square feet it's been emptied. It's been deactivated. As Jake said, we have Curtis across the street, where I think with PJ Clark's and the restaurants and the coffee shops, Keystone has done an amazing job activating. This has been really hard. It doesn't look like a commercial space. As you said, the entrance is recessed in behind those columns. It looks like an office building. And, we're asking for, some assistance here to activate this building with this signage to get this lease done. So we're certainly willing to work with the staff further as we move forward. But I think some of these banners would be really helpful.
Has anyone on the historical commission suggested placing something in there? I know it's a historical building, but instead, has that been looked at?
I don't know, Brett, if you all ever consider that. I would just say that from the perspective of the historical commission, which I know sometimes comes into conflict with the perspective of the art commission, with regards to signage, the blade signs are preferable just because they don't cover up any aspect of the structure itself.
Yes, I agree. Putting a sign there would cover the original name of the building.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're talking about up on that
insurance
on the top there above the entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is a much more mild, reversible treatment here that can be easily removed. That doesn't block any of those columns or obscure and is, we've seen this type of treatment on monumental buildings, I think, throughout the city here. So, I know, Jake, if there's anything further you wanted to add, I know you've been in contact with the tenant here.
Yeah. So I just want to add a couple things. I have a question about the precedent concern. Is it with the banner type sign system, or is it a precedent along Walnut Street? Because I know there are other historic buildings that do have the banners, and they're not too distant, not too far from the building. Also, given the building's age and access into this particular space, a tenant on this floor, in order to meet ADA compliance, would have to use a different entrance to the building. That entrance is off of St. James Place. So we've upgraded the building so it is, in this particular case, ADA compliant. So
And that's where banner number 4 is, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
That was my point.
And if you go, I know, Catherine, you can go to that view. If you just can scroll through here. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, that's Jake, that's the Sixth and St. James, right? Where the
Correct.
AD is
Exactly.
back there on that. Yeah.
To the right.
I would argue that the signage here could be accomplished with a wall-mounted sign at the base. It would be, I think, just as effective. Similar to the one at the base off of Walnut Street, you're replacing the urban engineering sign.
Yeah.
I agree because car traffic, the view of that sign, the proposed sign would be blocked by the tree. And so a pedestrian level sign. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that take.
I think what I'm hearing is that the signage, the projecting signage or the panel signage, wall-mounted signage on Walnut Street, I agree with that argument. Because the signage is pulled back from the property line, it doesn't block the columns. I can go along with that logic. It's really the signage along 6th Street, 5th Street, whatever street that is.
Yeah, 6th.
I think we're 6th we're having the issue with. So I think as a compromise, I'd be willing to go along with the signage on Walnut Street, but not on 6th Street. And I would go along with wall-mounted signage in lieu of the projecting signage that's being shown here.
I agree.
I still believe there's banners on Walnut shouldn't go there, and look another option on the frontage to see if the historical commission will look at that as an option, because it will set the precedence. And for years, it's just we fought really hard to keep the static the way it is right now. But that's just my opinion.
You can certainly look at other options on 6th Street.
I think that I would note that I think that I could be convinced of the compromise to keep the Walnut Street banners, but I think they should you should at the very least consider making them smaller or more pedestrian scale. And I would acknowledge that they will need a variance at this location, most likely.
Are the dimension?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Are the dimensions of the banners shown the same dimensions as the potential tenants like logo, or, you know, graphic?
Honestly, at this point, I think the tenant name would just be the tenant name and fewer letters than what you see here.
Okay, so there could be
A
a
simple
world in
one-word
which
name
these
with a
are
logo.
reduced in height, given the I mean, for instance, you know, let's say that this were a mystery bank. There could be Bank of America, which is, you know, 3 words and long, or it could be Chase. And so depending on how many letters or the logo of that bank, it would reduce the length of that banner. So are these the proposed banners probably longer or larger than what would ultimately be submitted?
I mean, I think at this point, the dimensions would probably remain, but the lettering.
Yeah. I think all
Number
we
of
can do
letters
is
would be a little bit
approve the
less.
dimensions, or the enclosure, the
Yeah.
container of
Yeah.
the panel. That's all we can do, because once a tenant is obtained and the logo is applied to the sign, then that's a completely different discussion, because now we'll be talking about color and font, and you know, if they get a tenant with, you know, a color that's not similar to what's being shown here, or
Yeah.
with a font
Yeah.
that's completely
That's
different.
We know we have to come back. We know we have to come back with color. Again, we were looking for, I guess, the maximum size of these banners that would work. And then we would come back with color and logo. Absolutely.
And Shannon, in your notes from the historical commission staff approval, there was a maximum projection noted in that, was there not?
Yes, limited to approximately 24 inches or proportional to the signage presented in the application is what historical commission approves.
Yeah, if they can draft something with smaller size to see how it looks, I mean, this is just overwhelming to me, you know, to be honest, and that historical area too.
Committee members, everyone, if I may, I've been tossing around ideas while I've been following the conversation. Committee members, would it be an option to consider approving the size of the banner with a copy not exceeding a certain percentage? Because obviously with the gym, it could be a short name like Blink Fitness. It could be a long name like Planet Fitness. And, I agree that we're not going to need a excessively tall banner for a short name. I'm just trying to think, if there's a compromise we could set up when we do get the name and the design. And Jake, please let me know if I'm out of line suggesting this. I've just been trying to follow the conversation and think of alternatives. Committee members, me, we've done several of these meetings, just thinking of past compromises, if something could be applicable in this case.
So I appreciate that you're trying to understand the maximum allowable signage, but I think what is coming up is precisely the reason that we don't approve placeholder signage is that there are so many variables that will affect the final look of this. What I am hearing from committee members is that there may be a compromise where they would be comfortable supporting two of the four banners along the Market Street side, but we would like to see a revised proposal where they are where the proposed maximum is smaller and more in line with the 24-inch maximum that was suggested by Historical Commission staff.
Okay. Okay.
Nick, are you okay with that if we come back?
Yeah, I think,
Okay.
with
Okay.
this as some guidance, we should come back with more detail.
Not to beat this horse to death, I would also propose that any bracketing match the metalwork that's already on the building. So if it's like a brass finish, it be brass bracketing.
I think that should be fine. But the sense of the committee is that there's definitely openness to the two on Walnut Street, final size, and other details, to be determined. And then on 6th Street, for us to continue to look at other wayfinding and signage options.
I agree with that.
With the replacement of the plaque sign and that the concept of that entrance sign being acceptable. Final details again to be provided. I think that would give us the direction to finish up lease negotiations with this tenant.
Yes, I'm in agreement.
Yep, me too.
Raya, did you have other comments?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, like you mentioned. Sorry, somebody was speaking to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we will be expecting those updates.
Great. Thank you for your time and consideration. Now, this is a challenging site. It's been challenging from us from a lot of different perspectives, but I think we've got some direction. And I guess, Catherine, we'll continue to stay in touch and over the next couple weeks and months. So thank you very much for all your time. Really very much appreciated.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. So our fifth agenda item is 1312 Chestnut Street. If you're here to speak to this item, please raise your hand. Okay, Stephanie and Michael, you should be able to unmute yourselves.
Hello.
Yep, I can hear you.
I'm on my phone. The airport. I apologize. Morning, everybody. Our client is the Church of Scientology. They've owned the building 13, 12, 13, 14 Chestnut Street, 6 or 8 years or so. Actually started a project there at that time, did it on the shelf, due to purchase or more recent purchase 18 Chestnut Street, which is a one-story building that would be removed in addition. Plan to fully restore the tower, which is 6 stories. 13, 12, 13, 14. It's not listed as a store, but it's a beautiful building from. Our sign proposal this morning are simply 3 dry light signs. We did one wall sign that's mounted. Well, here's a site. Sorry. Building goes through from Chestnut to Drury Street. Ends in Drury Street in the back. Right there, and sign goes from Chestnut. This is a full building elevation, or small. Go ahead, sorry.
Michael, you have a lot of background noise. Is there?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Do you want to, Stephanie, do you want to switch and take it over? As I said, I'm in an airport, so I apologize.
Sure, no problem.
I'll mute myself.
Thanks. So our the building, like Michael said, is roughly 17 stories high. So we have 15 main stories and then 2 mechanical stories. So our signage will be just at the street level. So there is we'll be removing the non-historic facade that is or the heavily modified facade and putting back the storefront that was originally there. So the signage will be basically focused on that area. And there is no existing signage today. So if you go to the next slide, you'll be able to see, yeah, there is some, we are leaving the existing upper signage. The building was originally the Cunningham Piano Building. And so there is terracotta, it says Cunningham sort of set into the brick. So we're leaving all of that signage alone, obviously. And then there are some ghost signs because the building changed hands after Cunningham another 3 times to be retail. So there are retail signs that are sort of still ghosted on the side. So we'll be leaving those to remain. We're not going to remove any of that. And then if you go to the next slide. So our new signage will be focused on the new storefront. So we will have 1 internally lit sign above the door, which will say the Church of Scientology. And then we have 2 signs at the storefront, which will be decals right on the glass, which will also say Church of Scientology. We'll be restoring the clock that you see there. Our intent is to use the original storefront as our inspiration for the new storefront. For the clock, we do have the shop drawings for the from Yellen, so we'll be putting that back as well. The internally lit signage will be mounted on a bronze structure that'll go across and be supported by the new bronze curtain wall. And yeah, and that is the same here, you'll see. It's all within our the square footages that are required. So yeah, you can see this for the context photos. So that the large sort of weird stucco stuff that is there now will be all removed, and we'll put back the at least what is inspired by the original construction drawings from when it was the piano building. And that's the only 3 signs we're here to present today.
Great, thank you, Stephanie. And committee members, do you have any questions?
No questions, but I'll say this is such a great building.
It is
It's
beautiful.
so fantastic. And I think you guys have done a great job at restoring it. The science is, or I'm sorry, the signage is almost secondary. I mean, that's a proof. I have no issue with it, but I really appreciate the work you guys have done, trying to remain true to the original design, particularly restoring the clock. I just think it's a great project, and I fully approve the signage.
Yeah, I second what Troy said. This is a really exciting restoration. It looks great. And yeah, full approval on my end.
Same. Full
I
approval.
agree. Yep, same. Very
Great.
good.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Great. We'll move forward with the recommendation for approval.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next application is the iBuy Direct at 1421 Walnut Street. Okay. If you're here to speak to this item, please raise your hand. Otherwise, we can proceed through the materials. Okay. I don't see any raised hands, so. Okay. So this application does include an illuminated wall sign as well as a proposed blade sign that you can see in the upper right there most clearly. The blade sign is not permitted at this location and is also proposed to be illuminated. And the application does note that the temporary window decals will be removed. So. I'd say that staff has no issue with the wall sign, but would disapprove of the blade sign.
I concur with you guys.
Yeah, I agree. The wall sign the blade sign seems superfluous.
I agree.
Yeah, I disapprove of the blade sign. I would just say the image on the lower right, the width of the wall sign kind of like matches the width of the front window, whereas on the upper left, the width of the sign slightly exceeds the width of the window just by a hair. I think that the width of the sign should match the width of the window in accordance with the lower right. But otherwise, I approve of the wall sign
Good
and
catch.
disapprove of the blade.
Okay. I think we're all in agreement, and we will let the applicant know that this will be an application this application will be recommended for approval for the wall sign only, contingent on the wall sign being limited to that opening width. So, okay, we can move to our next item. We're just switching some screens here, our screen share. Okay, So our next item is a Rothy's location at 1613 Walnut. Okay, and Stephanie, you should be able to unmute yourself at this time.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I'm here to represent Rothy's, their new tenant space and their sign and awning proposal. If you go to the next slide. This is the tenant space location on Walnut Street. Next slide. So they're proposing a set of halo lit letters. They're only proposed at 8 square feet. And then they're also proposing to replace the awning. It is going to be like the same style and look as the old Pandora location. The graphics on the awning, it's less than 1 square feet. So that's very small. And if you go to the next page, this is another just elevation look of it. And then if you go to the next page, here you'll see the halo illuminated sign look of it. And then the next page should show a little bit more details of the awning. Yep. So I'll open it up to you guys if you have any questions.
Looks fine to me, to be honest. Let's see.
I have a question. When I look at the existing condition and the new condition, I'm trying to understand like where the new sign is relative to the old sign, because it's a lot lower than the Pandora sign.
Yeah, so the awning is
canopy,
actually gonna be moved down. So do you see how the Pandora, it's up a little bit higher, like more above the windows? The Rothy's, they want to move it down to kind of be flush with like the door entrance height.
And so what will fill that space? Is it like an aluminum panel or will it be some sort of stone to match the existing facade?
So I asked them that because I was curious and I thought maybe you guys would have questions about that. They had said that right now, and it's kind of hard to tell with the photos of the elevation, but they said that it's currently like an indented portion of the building. They said that they're not planning on doing anything to it. They said they don't feel the need to do it with how it looks. They think that it will look fine.
I guess maybe it's the same conditions as what's under the current Pandora sign.
Correct.
Like a beige blocked off. Why not just do a taller awning?
I can ask them. They also said that they were willing to paint the like whatever is there, the indented portion to match the facade. Because I had asked them if they would be open to that option if needed, and they said that they would.
I think there needs to at least be a section through the facade to show what's happening, what's being replaced, what new materials being used, and how all of that goes together. Sort of a detailed section. Because right now it's a little confusing.
Yeah, and I think you would create kind of like a weird stack of like window, short awning, blank sort of recessed space, and then on top of that, the sign. And I think that you could solve that with just a taller awning that covers up that entire what appears to be beige area underneath the Pandora sign. Otherwise, you could potentially put some sort of on the current proposal where that kind of grayish block that's been, inserted in the rendering, that could become maybe some sort of panel, and the Rothy's sign could go on top of that, maybe with some backlighting. I don't know if that would look okay, but
Okay. Would another option be to keep the awning as where it currently is?
I do like it lower. Because as it is, it does also kind of create an awkward stack. Are you all committed to the awning being that kind of shorter height?
So the only reason I ask because it's probably going to be an additional cost to the client to make like a larger awning. So just putting budgets, into consideration. I was wondering if we could just keep it where it is.
I think it would be an easier argument to keep it where it is. Just replace the Pandora with the Rothy's and replace the Pandora lettering with the Rothy's.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, so I'll present all of the options to the client. So either keeping the awning where it is, or keeping the proposal where it is lower, but making the awning higher. And then also potentially maybe moving the Rothy's down to where that area is and putting a panel behind it. But it sounds like all three options your committee would recommend for approval, contingent on seeing the proposal.
Yeah, I think if you can submit revisions reflecting one of those options, we should be ready to update from revisions needed to approval.
Yeah, I mean, another just option, just kind of brainstorming, is that you could do the larger awning that covers that entire, area. And then instead of the Rothy's lettering on the awning, it could be just like a simple pedestrian level decal on the window. Because as it is, it doesn't look bad, but it is a little bit redundant. Having Rothy's on the awning and above it. And so you could move the awning Rothy's elsewhere to a more pedestrian level and still, I think, get the same effect. And that might reduce the cost of the awning just slightly. So just my 2 cents.
Well, what Phillips also, I like your idea of extending the awning and maybe allow them to put the little diagram or pictures on that flat just to, because it's redundant. You're right. Like the Pandora one, it looks all the same thing. We'll add a little bit if you want to advertise for them, rather than just finding. You could do a little advertising. Just put the. I don't know what Rothy sells, but you could post it out there. That way it's not just a blank dark on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think if they probably like the halo illuminated look of it, especially when it's dark out.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, I'll relay all this to the client and then submit for revisions.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Call your mother. Kidding, no. I like that.
Okay. Our next proposal for review is at the Call Your Mother location at 1901 Spruce. If you are here to speak to this one, please raise your hand or we'll go ahead and proceed through the slides as we've started to. I don't see any raised hands, so we can discuss this one. This is the former Metropolitan Bakery location. And the package includes both a wall sign and a projecting sign.
That used to be my favorite bakery. Just saying.
Oh, see a raised hand from Chloe. Chloe, you should be able to unmute yourself. Chloe, are you here to speak to this application? Okay.
I'm just looking at the storefronts for the other Call Your Mother locations because I was curious what it was. And this is actually quite restrained compared to a lot of their other shops.
And just to note that this is in the Rittenhouse Square review area, so we do have purview over both signs, but unlike some of the other review areas, the projecting sign is permitted at this location. It would not require a variance if the committee approves the design.
I'm not going to comment on the color scheme. But I will say, the sign, the main sign over the entry door, I think the letters are too big for the sign, Pat. And it's very crowded, especially if you look at the elevation. That's also, I think the letters as they appear in the large scale sign with the black perimeter, they don't, that's not consistent with the section detail. So if you want that black border around the letters, you're going to have to sort of paint the edges in a different color, and I'm not quite sure what that will look like, or it's going to give you the exact same effect that they're after. But if you paint the letters all yellow, then it's going to look different than it does on the frontal elevation. That's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you, Troy. We do have a raised hand from Linda Brown. Linda, you should be able to unmute yourself. Linda, you're breaking up quite a bit. Linda, I can hear you're trying to speak, but can't hear you very well. Hmm. Linda, I see your hand is raised. Would you like to try again? Yeah, you're still breaking up quite a bit. As we wait to see if we can hear from Linda again, do other committee members have comments?
I'm looking at their other storefronts online, and you can kind of get an understand of their like maximalist vision, which I think if they commit to it, I think it looks cool. Um, uh, as it is now, without a paint job or any, change to awnings, it looks a little bit incongruous on the building. But if they plan on painting the brick, which already appears to be painted, and put on new awnings, I think it could all come together. So I guess um, trusting that this is a component of a larger vision, I would be okay to approve. I have a hesitation about the projecting signs, the graphic look of that, and then the main wall sign. The the graphics don't quite match. It's like two different logos. But looking at their other locations, I see that that's kind of a part of their whole graphic identity is just kind of like a kooky, campy gestalt take.
Yeah, Philip, I think you kind of nailed it that it looks I think yeah, that I, I'm generally fine with the signs here. But I do sort of think maybe tying in that color palette with some other elements of the building would serve the overall purpose. But that's not our purview necessarily.
Commit to the bit. Commit to the bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised to see them not incorporate updating the awnings into that color palette strategy. Do you have a raised hand again from Linda? Let's see if we can. Linda, would you like to give it another go?
So,
Oh,
can you hear me now?
yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Oh, sorry. Hi, everybody. I was having problems with it. So the awnings, I heard you mention, I think the landlord might be redoing the awnings. Call Your Mother wasn't sure what's going on yet. If they do, they'll just reskin what's there just to make it look fresher and newer.
Do you know if they plan on painting and fully decking out the building? I understand it's not our purview, but it's good context.
Yeah, the client here is not sure about the building. They're just renting the space. They just are replacing the sign that had the Metropolitan Bakery with the Call Your Mother. And then the small projecting sign says people are driving up the street, they'll see it.
I guess I would say if they're not planning on painting the building to go all out, I might recommend that the Call Your Mother wall sign be changed to match the projecting sign graphic look. Just, if the building is going to remain mostly as it is, which is like pretty beige and tame, I think that the existing proposal wall sign sticks out like a sore thumb in a way that just doesn't gel. And the projecting sign graphic language would be better.
Yeah, they tried to stick with their color, like the pink is in their logo. What happens when you put the teal and the over the pink, it just doesn't read that well. It's not a nice contrast of colors. So most of the time they all do the signs with the yellow on the pink background with the little stripes. So that's kind of more their logo. When they went to do the projecting sign, doing a little round sign, you really can't stick to the same graphic. It's just not going to read the same.
Sure.
So, and that's it. You can see it's a phone dial, call your mother. That's their logo. But
I
it
thought it was a
didn't.
donut. Okay.
Yeah, do you see that?
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
yeah, that's their logo. And they just couldn't fit that on the rectangle sign over the door. So they kind of went with like how Metropolitan Bakery just had the name.
Sure, sure.
I would just chime in to say this building is part of the Rittenhouse Fittler Historic District. So painting it turquoise or pink is going to meet some resistance from the Historical Commission if that's part of the plan. Normally we only approve brick colored paint on painted brick buildings. But
well, that's not painted on. That's a sign cabinet.
Oh no. Oh yeah, I was just talking about Philip's question about the
okay.
plan for the design. But I do think what we don't normally choose to regulate is painted trim and the awnings. So again, they could have some there's some room there to play around and incorporate different elements of their color scheme.
Okay. What color would you like to see? So it's the pink background that you're not happy with?
I don't think it's the problem with the pink background. I think what Philip was just identifying that I sort of agree with is it does all sort of look incongruous together as part of an overall store design without some other bright colors on parts of the building, I would say. So maybe the door could be painted, or you could switch out the awning colors or something like that, just to make it feel like a fully designed store.
Like perhaps if the building were painted a white or maybe like a cream color. I'm just seeing like the beige of the building is a warm tone, kind of like an earth tone, and then meeting the white projecting sign and the pink and yellow, it's more of like a silver tone. And that's the kind of incongruity.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if they'll be allowed to do any painting. That would be up to the landlord, not the tenant. But I can have them reach out to the landlord and talk about painting, the black to a different color.
Yeah, Catherine, is it within our purview to kind of want to know, beyond the signage, the what paint might be, or awnings?
I think it would be, I think it's appropriate to understand the signage in context, but I think what I'm hearing is that, if the, existing condition of, like, um, we can only review that context based on what we're seeing, and the color palette of the proposed signage with the existing painted brick may need to be rethought. So unless there are additional updates proposed in the package to the awnings or otherwise to make it more uniform.
All right. So maybe like on the projecting sign, and I can see on the picture here, it looks like a bright white. If we go to more of a beige background on that, where it's not so stark with the bright white.
I'm sorry, and you're saying that using the projecting sign logo on top with I really like the logo on the projection sign. I don't know, it's like the size, the dimension. I don't know if it will look the same on the top, but I do like the beige, actually, the color of the building right now. It's just the pink, for my opinion. It's just too bright and out of space, let's put it this way.
Right, with the white. So maybe if they go with a more beige looking background rather than a bright white, it would match the building a little better.
That's what I think.
Okay, and then maybe on the big sign over the door, change that pink background, like just change their colors. Maybe they can bring their teal and pink in a different way, but go with a beige background, just to make it more subtle looking and match the building.
Yeah, in my opinion, I would say, as is, I would deny the given proposal. For me, I would say resubmit, either going a more subtle approach that matches the existing building conditions, or what I would like to see more of is like commit to it and go all out, where you submit, a repainted facade, refaced awnings that goes with your more colorful look.
Okay.
So it's
All right.
either like choose one direction. Right now, it's kind of like it's not one or the other.
Got it. Yeah.
I would say either commit to the bit and just go more gregarious, and it would all kind of tie together, or commit to the more beige stately. But honestly, I feel like the beige stately subdued, it doesn't match your brand identity. And I don't know if you'd be doing the business justice, but commit to one direction and just go with it. That's what I would say.
I'll take that back to the client. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Linda.
All right, I'm on the next one too.
Okay.
This is Jefferson Health at 830 Walnut Street. And they have these signs that were already existing. They're replacing them with a new cabinet, same exact size, just updating the cabinets. And it's going to be for Jeff Express, the urgent care. So along Walnut Street, there's actually 4 of these signs. This space will take up 2 of the signs. If you go to the next slide, there you go. Now, you can see in the existing picture, They had the boxes. So they're replacing those and putting the Jefferson Health and the urgent care in there. Then if you look in the existing picture, along the right side, you see all those white panels? They're looking to do them with the blue, that Jefferson background. I'm not sure if it's why, but that's always been blocked off, those windows. I don't know if it's exam rooms back there or something for privacy, but instead of leaving it just that white, they just thought it looked nicer and fit in more with the Jefferson logo and colors.
It looks like in the existing conditions, there was once an entrance. Perhaps there were separate storefronts and they've now been combined.
Correct.
So it looks like in the proposed, there's no entrance there. And so I think the Jeff Express sign is good to me. And I would say eliminate the second sign because it's confusing. It looks like it's a separate storefront, but it's not. And it's just additional signage that kind of clutters the building. Whereas I think just having one Jeff Express sign above the entrance, it communicates that that's one whole unit.
But it is also part of Jefferson Health, even though they made it into one entrance. And those signs are already existing. So then you're just going to have a big blank sign that's just sitting there.
Hmm.
If you go to the next slide, you'll see. Oh, now go to the pictures I sent. There. So in the first one, you can see how there's 4 of those box signs going down the street. So they want to utilize, rather than have it sit empty and people thinking it's like an empty space, it is all part of the Jefferson building.
Would the other 2 signs that aren't a part of this proposal be refaced eventually?
Probably if that space gets taken, that's still empty space. So the urgent care is in these 2 spaces, like this end. So the other 2 are not really going to be the same. Those will just sit blank. And that's it. Like having all these blank signs just doesn't look that good either. So Jefferson is labeling it is part of the Jefferson building, and it's their health, their urgent care.
Yeah, I agree with you in principle, Philip, but I think it's probably better to have the sign there than leaving it empty.
Yeah, I agree. If it's part of a larger context of several entrances that all have signs, then yes, I agree. So I'm fine with the proposal as is.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. I think we can move forward with a recommendation of approval.
Great. Thank you very much. They'll be happy to hear that. Have a great day.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Ken, you should be able to unmute yourself to speak to this.
Yes, hi. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. I believe I may be also joined by 2 developer representatives, Dan Oot and John Sofio. I don't know if you see them, if you want to unmute them as well, in case they want to chime in.
I do see John Sofio. He should be
Okay.
able to unmute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other one feed
And
pops in
this
as
is John
well.
Selfie, yes. Yeah, this
Hi,
is John
John. Thanks,
Selfie.
thanks for
And
joining.
yeah, absolutely.
So, so yeah, appreciate the opportunity to present this proposed signage project today. And it's for 1919 Walnut Street. There's currently a tenant fit out in progress on the interior. And there was also, within the past 6 months, there was an approval from both the city planning and urban design and historical for a brownstone restoration, a chemical stripping and restaining of the brownstone facade. So this is the next stage in the project for proposed business signage. And just so I can bring it up right in the beginning before I forget. So the initial proposal was for flat wall signage. Then there was a revision to add a projecting sign, which is still in these slides, but it was identified that that would require a zoning variance. So the projecting sign is being removed from the proposal. So what you're seeing here is the proposed brushed brass letters on standoffs with two light bars above the sign. And this has also been informally reviewed by historical staff, and they do have some concerns, and I believe they may be also shared by the art commission and the sign committee, of the number of penetrations that this style lettering would require into the facade if each individual letter has standoffs, and also for the details of how the power is going to get to the light bars. So John, I don't know if can you speak to
yes.
that?
Yep. So the way the rendering looks, the way the letters would be individual with little standoffs, as opposed to the way the drawing is, which shows these two rails running across the back of the sign. We would prefer to have the smaller holes drilled for the individual letters versus bigger holes for these two racks that appear on the top and the bottom of each line of type. So our goal would be to try to eliminate the requirement to have those big tracks behind the letters. I feel like it would impede the reading of the sign to begin with, and also look like a cheaper version of what we're trying to do, given the location of this property and the investment we put into the property. The goal would be to have just our typical standard little individual letters with four little, I think the threaded rods are like 1/4 of an inch. So the holes would be small and they wouldn't have to go as deep. But that would be our goal. And then for the light bar, this was a compromise from having each letter individually backlit. So we just have one point of power drilling through the building in only one location, and that would be at the end of the light bar. So we've minimized going through the building to one point, and we're trying to minimize the size of the bolt going into the building for these rails, and also just the fact that the rails do look like they would impede the sign as you read it.
Hey, thank you, John. And the remainder of the submission was the next page showed the projecting sign, which I mentioned has been dropped from the scope, and then there was just a series of photos of the current conditions. So with that, I'll turn it over to the committee for any questions or comments.
Thank you, Ken. Committee members, do you have any questions?
I have a question. Can you go back to the yeah, right there. Did you ever consider an option to mount a panel on the front facade with the letters attached to the panel? That way you would only need to make 4 connections to the building, and you could do whatever you want with the letters because they'd be mounted onto a panel.
It's John, that's probably a question for you.
I'm
For
trying
style.
to, I was pausing because I was trying to visualize a large panel that would hold both words. It seems like it would take up quite a bit of the front elevation above the windows, blocking out the brownstone that was just restored. And it felt like it was a bigger intrusion into the look of the building as opposed to something more minimal, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep this a extremely classy and tight look. And I don't know what type of panel that would be. Obviously not a box, an aluminum box with these letters standing off, but
No, it could be a flat panel. It could be the color of the brownstone, similar to I guess the design you were proposing for the projecting panel on the next sheet.
so I get the vision. Are you saying
Similar to that.
made out of metal?
Yeah, it could be metal. Same
Yeah.
color as the brownstone. It would blend in with the background. You could have the letters. I mean, it would need to be a little smaller than what you're showing now, but it would minimize the impact on the existing facade. I don't know. That's just an idea. Because I think what you have now, there's a lot of stuff going on in terms of penetrations into the facade, and I don't think the results it's going to be as clean as it appears to be on that elevation.
Okay.
I'll just chime in, Troy. I think that's a really great idea. From the perspective of the Historical Commission, and I know you all already know this, given the number of penetrations proposed for mounting the individual letters directly to the building, this is probably not going to be something that the staff will be able to approve. So it would have to go before the architectural committee for approval. But I think exploring a panel option where you could get, something that looks pretty close to what you intend, with far fewer holes being drilled into the building might just be something you want to look into.
Sure.
It could save you
how many
having to go before another committee.
Great. How many holes are we allowed to drill into the building if we put the panel on?
Well, I think you would probably need 4 at least to mount it. I don't know, based on the kind of panel you're proposing, maybe 2 more. And then you have the conduit. But I can't rightly say, we don't have a sort of maximum number that we allow. So yeah,
sure.
As few as possible is really the answer.
Yeah, John, what they're the concern being.
I understand the concern of drilling
yeah,
into the brownstone and damaging it. I don't think the panel or these rails are minimizing the damage to the brownstone, given that we're going to have to probably through bolt or have anchoring fasteners, which are much larger holes to get into that. These little letters take a 1/4 of an inch little drill that goes in an inch and just sits in there. You could probably even minimize it to 3 little holes per letter. And I'm talking about a 1/4 of an inch versus upwards of an inch hole, right? Really damaging the brownstone. So I'm trying to minimize touching the brownstone to be very, very clear. And the bigger the hole, the worse it is. We've already did this brownstone and restored it, and we learned a lot about it. And small holes, fine. Big holes, cracks. So we'll research how big the holes have to be. We'll research putting a panel up behind the letters and see how that affects the historic look of the building. And I guess we'll go back.
Thank you, John. So I I agree with the recommendations of
Great.
both Shannon and Troy. I would also say that looking at the elevation as you have it, it does appear to be a bit squished in that location. I wonder if it could be if the overall design could be rethought so that the letters had a little bit more breathing room, either smaller or if there's an opportunity to have it limited to one line of text that might give a more appropriate amount of breathing room to the cornice and the windows.
I second that. My main issue with this design is that, the area that you have to work with is really between the door, the edge of the building, the tops of the windows, and the bottom of the cornice or the ledge. And that's really a horizontal space. And the current logo is very stacked. And so, yes, if there was a single line of text version of the logo, I think that would match the building and just look a bit more elegant. I also think that, the brownstone is very elegant and the golden brassy, lettering is very elegant, but I worry that the two light fixtures look just very kind of like contemporary and modern. So I'm wondering if the light fixtures could be changed to something, maybe like a gooseneck or, some sort of finish that matches the kind of classic appeal of the building rather than like a black LED light strip type thing.
That totally makes sense.
John, are you okay with just tabling this for now then, and coming back to the committee with some maybe
Yes,
one more
well,
revisions, or would you like to vote on a decision
No,
or recommendation?
sure. Thank you for that. I think we'll just go back to the client and ask her what she wants, and then we'll come back.
I think when you come back, it would be very helpful to combine the large scale detail that you're showing with the elevation of the windows and the bottom of the cornice, just so that we could see the proportion of sort of the different elements in relationship to the sign. That would be very helpful.
Are you saying to do a section through the
Not a
building to
section.
show that?
Show
Sorry.
the elevation. Show the detail of the elevation of the letters and then how they're mounted. Show it within the context of the elevation that you're showing below. Right now, there's a
So you're saying
disconnect
that
because
you can't figure out the sign above in the drawing with the rendering because they're not exactly the same.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah,
Totally.
we
I
don't
think that
understand sort of where the
the
tops of the
direction.
windows are relative to the signage and the bottom of the
Yeah.
cornice.
So the direction is to use one line. I'm going to go back to the client, ask her if she could get rid of the word wellness. We'll center the ento, and we'll mount it with one point per letter. So we don't need to do the backing or panel. And if we are allowed to put 4 holes in the building for the panel, we certainly should be able to put 4 holes in the building for the 4 letters E and T. So I'll go back to her with that and see how that goes. And we'll improve the light, which obviously doesn't look great and can look great.
Great. Thank you. We will
Thank you.
recommend for revisions needed and look forward to seeing your revised proposal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we've made it to the last item on our agenda for today. And Susan, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
So my name says Susan, but actually I'm Caitlin, and Susan is just will be here today.
Okay. Welcome,
So
Caitlin.
thank you. We're basically replacing the bottom portions of the awnings where edible is. So there's two on the front side of the door, and then on the side of the building is one awning. This is just another view of the front. So it has two awnings of where the space is. And then here, this is a little mock-up of what we're trying to do. Just change the bottom fabric of it and replace Edibles logo with our logo and our name, and then matcha, coffee, and the desserts is a possibility, but Sora for sure, mainly just on this bottom panel. The two front ones, they're going to be a little shorter, and then the one on the side is just like a little bit longer than the ones in the front. And we can go to the next one. So this is just a view of the space. Again, the two front is the awnings, side is longer length. And we can go to the next slide as well. So this is behind the awnings. This is where we would have to replace the fabric. Basically just screws to detach the current ones and then rescrew in the fabric for ours. Our neighboring tenants, they have similar behind of the awnings where it's just like the screw to replace it. This is just the same thing behind the awnings. And then this is a frosted vinyl cover for one of our windows. So if you go back to the picture of the side of the building where it has, yes, right here, on the bottom image is the side of the building. And then on that rightmost window, we're just gonna add a frosted window covering because our bar will be there. So when people look in, we don't want people to like look right into our bar where everybody's working. So we're just having like a little frosted thing just to obscure the view going into the space, just for some privacy. But that's all I really have, if anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Caitlin. So for the awnings, I think the design of the valance is nice and subtle, but to confirm, you're only replacing the valance. You're not reskinning the upper part, so the upper part will remain the black.
Yes, the upper part will remain black because I think it might be a little hard to change the color of that, I believe. And cost savings as well. We looked into like possibly removing the awnings, but that's just too much. And I think the only option that they gave us was just to change the bottom part of it.
Any members, do you have any questions?
Not really. I like it.
Thank you.
I think it would be ideal if you changed the entire awnings to match the green, but I understand the cost aspect of it. With your current proposal, I would just request that whatever material the black is made out of, it match the green. So if it's like a canvas, like a matte finish canvas black, that it be like a matte finish, canvas green. Or if it's like a vinyl black, it should be a vinyl green. Just try not to mix and match materials.
Okay, if we change the top portion, you're saying where that black is?
No, if you don't change the black portion,
Mm-hmm.
just make sure that the green valance, that
Mm-hmm.
those two materials match, right? So it would look really awkward if it were like, if the black awning, let's say, is currently like a black vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
If you did like a canvas green valance, it would just look kind of strange,
Mm-hmm.
So just make sure that the materials match.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Mhm.
As an
And then-
alternative, sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. And I think the frosted window will look good. So just wanted to put that in there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. As an alternative, has the client considered having the background of the valance just be black to match the existing?
That was a consideration, but we're open to it. But we just figured maybe the green can stand out a little bit more on the corner of the road and the sidewalk. What do you guys think?
I like the black and green.
Black and green.
It's a good color combination.
Mm-hmm. And then the green also does match a little bit of the color scheme that we're trying to go for within the space. So that was an option.
Are there any other questions from committee members?
I'm good with it.
Yeah, me too. Can you use that area where you were looking for hiding to propose the timing, the hours? Because I'll probably be a customer. I walk to 12th Street all the time.
So currently we have temporary on the front, and then we do have our hours on the door slightly already. So we have it.
Thank
you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't want to give everything away, from a distance. You want to bring the customers to the door. That's what
I walk. That sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like the committee's comfortable recommending for approval. So,
okay. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And our next meeting will be the Art Commission on September 9th. So, thank you all.
I'll see you there.
Thank you.
Thank you.